Okay, chorus 2 starts off with a sort of chromatic ascending lick right here. And there's a couple things I'd like to call your attention to in this one. One, I'm starting with my pinky here on the 5, the 10th fret of the A. I usually start with my ring finger, but when I have to do 2 sets of 4-note stretches, I usually start with my pinky because I find it easier to grab. So the first riff, we walk up from the 2 to the flat 3 to the major 3rd, and then to the root, and then we pedal off the root. And the third riff, so we have, we did pedal once, and then 4 to flat 5 to minor 3rd, so we major 3rd, 4th, ending on the minor 3rd, then a chromatic from the 6 to the 5, major 3rd, and a chromatic down from the root to the dominant 7. So we're really mixing and matching a lot of tones here. The 6th is more of a major tone. Down to the 5, we grab the major 3rd, but then we resolve it to a dominant 7. But, or I shouldn't say but, and then after that, for the last measure of the 1 chord, we have a lick that implies a sort of flat 9, sharp 5 riff. And that sounds a lot heavier than it is. What it is it's just for the last measure of the 1 chord, to voicely, we can add these tones, which are the sharp 5 and the flat 9, which lead us really nicely to the 4 chord. Let me demonstrate here. So you hear how that chord leads really nicely into there. Another way to think of it, instead of C7 sharp 5 and flat 9, would be to think of it as a half step up from an F9 chord, an F sharp 9. So we're just sort of targeting that. But the lick that I haven't even played yet, I was just leading up to that right now. So after we end the last lick, which we come into this lick, which comes off of all those chord tones I was mentioning. We slide into the 9, hammer on, pull off from the 9 to the root, sharp 5, major 3rd, root. And then we land on the F note for the 4 chord, so it's very strong and intended sounding change. Then we walk down into another position of C, which is what I commonly associate with the major pentatonic position here in C, as opposed to your blues box. So that's all happening in what might look like an A minor blues box. So really what it is C major, which is the relative, A minor is the relative minor of C major. So that's why you can find these fingerings in the same spot. So anyway, walk down here, slide back up into the major 3rd. So all that was over the 4 chord. Right? And what do we have there? We're definitely we're avoiding the major 3rd there. Flat 3rd, major 3rd of the 1, I should say. Because we always want to avoid that major 3rd on the 4 chord. And we slide back in for the root, right into the major third once we get back from the 4 chord to the 1. So we have this lick that you'll see many times over in this course. And then we have this diminished or C7 flat 9 arpeggio riff. That leads us right into the 2-5-1 turnaround. And so now we're on D for the 2-5-1. Let me point that out to you. What's happening there is we're hammering on from C to C sharp, grabbing E on the 9th fret of the G string, the 8th fret of the B, which is a G, and then we're sliding into the B note on the 12th fret of the B string, and landing on the 10th fret of the B string. And then the 2-5-1 lick. Okay, so what we have there is we're playing off of a D minor, the 5, sliding from the minor third to the 9 or the 2, and walking chromatically to the major third of the G7, using that A note on the 12th fret as a passing tone. And then we have basically are outlining a G7 arpeggio from B, D, F, except we're using a flat 9 passing tone to give it a little bit of a dissonant or out kind of sound. Okay, a lot of stuff to digest there. I don't expect to, not necessarily something that you would digest in one pass, but this whole chorus is meant to be something that you internalize because it's got a lot of chord changes implied in the licks, and they'll start to become more obvious over time as you start hearing them more. So let me play through the whole thing slowly, and you can follow along if you like. Here we go. Okay, in chorus 3, more of the same, more swing licks mixed with bebop. We're going to start off with targeting the natural 7 as opposed to the dominant 7.